can do that. I don't know how many people here don't know the story behind this song. Have you folks heard this story behind this song?
What's saying is I don't know what the song
She's looking at me like I don't even know what you're talking about. So. Yeah. Well, uh, yeah. Anyway, I know it's a small crowd. I think most everyone's heard the story behind this song, but when I was in Nashville years ago, back in the '90s, I had this. I call it a hobby, I guess you would say, because I would go down on Music Row where all the music studios were most of the time in the middle of the night, and I would actually get in the dumpster, and there was a whole strew of them where all the music studios were down there, and get all these demo tapes and stuff out of there that people like you and I would faithfully send in thinking they were going to get listened to, and yeah, they ended up in there, most of them. But I had quite a collection of songs. I mean, a lot of them belonged in the dumpster, believe me. But there was a handful of them that, would kind of pull at your heartstrings, and they said things. And this one in particular was one that I just really thought was just such a wonderful song, and it is. But I didn't know anything about it. It was just a tape with the name of the song on it and some publishing group and a phone number, which was just to that studio. Didn't have anything to do with the guy that wrote it, and his name wasn't on it. But 15 years I had that song, that tape, and then I put it on YouTube, and it was on there a couple of years, and I got a note one day from this guy, said, hi, my name's Gary Owens, and I wrote this song, where did you get it? And and so I immediately I wrote him back, and I put my phone number on there, and he called me, and we got to talking, and he really kind of got a chuckle out of where I found it. But in all seriousness, I told him, I said, this song has blessed me so much over the years, and I have blessed so many others with it. And he told me, he said, well, don't stop. He said, because that's why I wrote it. And so it just blesses me every time I get a chance to share the song. But, and it says so much because there's neighbor Johns in the world we pass every day that seem to be so far from God and seem so unreachable, and their hair is purple and it stands up on end, and yeah.
Rogers
But
used to be like that years ago, and then he quit.
imagine that. But it talks about God crosses the line. There's a scripture that says that God will do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works within us. So God will always cross the line whenever we draw it. All things work together for good to those who love God. God causes the rain to fall on the just and the unjust. And it just keeps going. Yeah, it's just a wonderful song. But. Neighbor John put a plan in the ground out by the fence that stood between his place and mine. And from it came a rosebud I knew was heaven sent, and it grew over to my yard in time. I never said a word like some I know who would, for the beauty of the roses was sublime. And through the years they grew, set against the sky blue, and I thank God for my neighbor's vine. And it takes God's love to make the roses grow, crossing over where people draw the line. I beheld the beauty of the rose like it was mine, and I thank God for my neighbor's vine. Neighbor John since passed away, and I've heard people say His life was just a cup of bitter wine. But I still like to think of the beauty displayed with the roses in his yard and mine. When it rains, you know it rains on the good and bad alike, soaking the land through and through. And when the sun comes out from behind the darkest cloud, it shines down on the likes of me and you. And it takes God's love to make the roses grow, crossing over where people draw the line. I still behold the beauty of the rose like it was mine, and I thank God for my neighbor's vine. And it takes God's love to make the roses grow, crossing over where people draw the line. I behold the beauty of the rose like it was mine, and I thank God for my neighbor's vine. I thank God for my neighbor's vine. Wherever I develop this frog in my throat,